Welcome back, bros, to another video review. And today we have the opportunity to take a look at the Transformers Dark of the Moon Studio Series Core Class Bumblebee. So before we get started, I just want to say that this is a licensed vehicle by GM, and this is like a lifestyle Camaro as what we saw in the video. Now, I'm going to be honest because I wasn't really going to pick this figure up, but then I was looking at the box at GameStop, and I was like, man, this actually does look pretty good for being a core size figure. And then it dawned on me, I already have one core size figure for Dark of the Moon, so it only makes sense to add another from the Studio Series. So for the contents, this is what we get inside. We get Bumblebee himself, the figure, and then he comes with one accessory, his cannon. And then he comes with the instruction manual, which is standard to all Transformer action figure toys. So here we are. Let's take a closer look at this figure. I've already zoomed in so we could check out the details on this toy. Now to start it off, let's take a look at the head. The head, in my opinion, is all right. It doesn't have as much detail as I would like, but it is a very small figure, so I can see the reason why it only has the little bit of details that it currently has. Now, to be honest, for Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, I would have rather seen his face than more his battle mask. But we all know that is another way for Hasbro to re-release this figure with Bumblebee's face rather than his battle mask equipped for this toy. Now, when looking at the picture of Bumblebee from this movie, from Dark of the Moon, there's a lot of differences, as you see, from the CGI representation of Bumblebee to the toy. Now, we don't get the Camaro, I guess, angled configured chest as what we saw in the movie. We don't get, like, his abs. We don't get, like, the more streamlined look, but we get a more accurate car form versus an accurate robot form. And I'm okay with that because the figure, like I said, does look very simplistic. And I'm not upset because it is a core class. And there's not a lot of paint details only in vehicle mode versus in robot mode. When it comes to the articulation, it's basically standard with all core size figures. The arm go up that high. It can rotate a full 360 because it is on a ball joint. My copy is very stiff. The elbow bends 90 and it can swivel all the way around because it is on a ball joint. There is no wrist swivel, by the way. There is no waist swivel either, but the leg can kick up this high. It could bend this far only because it's being hindered right here because of Bumblebee's rear window that's not even painted. It can kick back this far because of the backpack on the vehicle. And there's a little bit of foot articulation to get them to rock forward and not really much back. So that's pretty much all we get. And then the head can look up this high all the way down because of transformation. And it can rotate left and also right. So this is what we get for the articulation on this little guy, on this actually core class Bumblebee. So here we are for comparisons. Here I have the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee in the middle with some of the core class figures that I've owned from the movie line that I have available right here. Here we have the Studio Series RC from the movie Transformers Rise of the Beast. And here we also have a fellow Transformer that is in the movie with Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon. Here we have Shockwave. And with that being said, we have also a small statue of Sam Witwicky, the Shia LaBeouf figure from another figure that came out, which looks very good in the scale of these robots, in my opinion. And for my last comparisons, here we are with Studio Series Bumblebee, Dark of the Moon in the middle, with Studio Series Rise of the Beast on his right, and on his left, he has the Gamer Edition Bumblebee, just so you can see the size and the scaling from this core class figure to a deluxe size figure. So now it's time for transformation. So now that we have Bumblebee transformed into his vehicle mode, this is what we get. And this official licensed Camaro actually looks pretty good in my opinion. Now, I do wish this back window right here would have been painted black to complete it. Other than that, I like the front of the grille. It looks nice. It's painted very well. The tires, in my opinion, I would like for the front piece where that pin to have been black. All right, guys, you will have to compress it if it's not fully compressed. So here we go. That's the best it's going. It's not compressing any further. All of a sudden, now that I do the review. But overall, now, this is part that kind of disappoints me. You gave us a studio series with minimum paint details, in my opinion. You could at least painted the back of the car since you was going for an official licensed vehicle, in my opinion. But if you guys think that's a nitpicking, it is what it is. If we're paying studio series prices for these type figures, I would love to see more paint details, especially if we're getting more hollow plastic figures, because his arms are kind of hollow, and you know, Bumblebee's hood is hollow, of course. But just as a nitpick and a gripe, I would have loved to see more paint on this in the vehicle mode, if this is going to be an official licensed vehicle, in my opinion. So here we are for comparisons. I looked and I had to think about it. Yes, Ravage is from this line also. So here we have Ravage, Bumblebee, and Shockwave transform into their alt modes. And as you can see right here, the scaling is definitely off, but the stylized details from this movie makes all three of these figures work very well and look good together on the shelf. Now, when it comes to the front views of the figures, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the scaling and the size of the figure. Definitely Shockwave should be much larger. And then if you're going to make Shockwave larger, then Bumblebee should be larger than Ravage. But as a whole, I like the way they turned out, and I like the way how Bumblebee fits with these two Decepticon villains. And hopefully we might get some more Autobots in this core class size to round out the Transformers Dark of the Moon Studio Series line. So now we reach the point of the review where I like to do the Yeah Bro figure grading system, or in other words, I at least like to tell you if this figure is going to be a pickup or a pass, and share my opinions and thoughts on this figure to help you, guide you in a choice of making a purchase or passing on this figure, which is ultimately your decision. So to start it off, in my opinion, for me and my collection, I thought it was a pickup because I already have characters from the previous Dark of the Moon toy line in core class size that was released earlier in Studio Series line. For instance, Shockwave, Ravage, and I didn't pick up the pink Laserbeak, but I may pick it up just so I can have that line starting to round out and look good together. With that being said, I do feel like this Bumblebee has minimalistic paint apps. And of course, it is a recolor of the first release, the Laserbeak Dark of the Moon figure that came out for Studio Series a while back. And then also, I do believe that this figure is limited in posability and holding dynamic poses in robot mode. But while it's in alt mode, it is a fun little car. It rolls very nicely. There is nothing scraping at the bottom of the vehicle. And then, in addition to that, his accessory for his cannon can definitely hold blast effects inside to give Bumblebee that appearance of him firing in battle to capture some of those battle scenes. So if you're interested in picking up a copy of this figure, I got my copy from my local GameStop where I paid $11.99 plus taxes. So if you would like to check this figure out and order it from there, you can also check out their webpage, which will guide you to find this item in your local GameStop store. As always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. By doing these 4 actions, it shows my channel a tremendous amount of support, and not only that, positive feedback to continue to help my channel grow. Thank you once again for spending your time watching my video, and until next time, yeah bro, I'll see you soon.